Good evening, everyone. We are here for the Planning and Zoning Appeals Board meeting. Today's date is June 2nd, 2026. The time now is 6:09 p.m. First thing in order, I would like for one of the members of the board to serve as the chair for this particular meeting. So if I can ask for a volunteer. Before I volunteer someone to.
We're gonna have to talk about making this position permanent.
Actually, we're going to be doing that soon and very soon.
I mean, giving me the job, go get the title. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to the Planning and Zoning meeting. Right now, we're gonna be doing invocation. Please stand.
Invocation will be by Mr. Lee.
And Lord, thank you for your goodness and your mercy to God and Lord, that help us this night as we endeavor to do the work of the city. Give us wisdom, give us understanding, and give us an attitude of cooperation. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
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 Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Ms. Dominguez, for serving as the chair.
Now we have the approval of the minutes of April 7th, 2026. Can I get a?
I believe we would need to have the roll call, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Alrighty. Board Member Aldo Mata.
Here.
Board Member Don Mangum. Present. Board Member Audrey Dominguez.
Here.
And Board Member Claudine Hibbert-Smith.
Here.
Okay, now can we have the approval of the minutes of April 7th, 2026?
Claudian approves the minutes.
I second.
Roll call.
Board Member Don Mangum.
Yes.
Board Member Audrey Dominguez.
Yes.
Board Member Aldo Mata.
Yes.
And Board Member Claudine Hibbert-Smith.
Yes.
Approved 4-0.
Now we have our first resolution, which is number 1, and it's a public hearing. So, Mr. Gay.
We'll have the attorney read it into the record.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, to consider the site plan application for the development of a concrete batching plant with the required parking and landscaping on the property located at 13060 Cairo Lane and identified by folio 08-2128-003-0620 in the I-4 zoning district, providing for an effective date.
Public hearing.
Okay. We do have the presenters for this particular project. They can come and make a presentation.
Good evening.
We'll get your mic together just a second.
We can hear you.
Yeah, but
One more time?
people in the audience, I mean,
Good evening, Oscar Rabiner, Rabiner Associates, 743.
Pull the mic up a little bit. All right, there you go.
it's not.
723.
Wait.
Oscar, if you can speak into the mic.
That's it. Oh, no.
There we go. Good evening, Oscar Rabiner from Rabiner Associates, 5723 Northwest 158th Street, Miami Lakes, Florida. So unfortunately today, the property owner is not here. He had a family emergency and had to leave the country. But I do have with me his daughters that are helping support him. One is an attorney who's going to talk with regards to the other item on the agenda. Basically, the site, as was mentioned, is located on Cairo Lane, south of 135th. And I'm guessing this is next, within the I-4 Liberal District. How's this work? This one's off. Sorry about that. Basically, this is a salvage yard and a junkyard that's located in the area we're all familiar with, roughly 3.5 acres in the I-4 with proposed 38 parking spaces that are distributed for the truck parking as well as for employees and guests that would be coming to the site. The idea is basically to build a batch plant that is up to par with current standards. You know, better than what the city is accustomed to with other sites that go unnamed. Here's an aerial of the site. Currently, it is a junkyard, as I mentioned, and it has frontage with Cairo Lane and then the railroad on the back side of it. The intent is to be in compliance with the city of Opa-locka regulations and not require any variances whatsoever with Miami-Dade County regulations, as well as the Florida Building Code, South Florida Water Management District, DEP, for both state and local air quality and dust control measures, as well as permitting for that batch plant, and stormwater management, which is critical for a facility in this area that we know has very poor drainage, as well as the FAA, but we're not anywhere near the actual approach path for the actual airport. So the site does meet all setback requirements as well as required minimums for open space as per the I-4 district. And effectively, we've attempted to organize the site in a way that would mitigate offsite tracking of dust. So the biggest problem that other concrete batch plants have is that their operations are on smaller sites. This is roughly 3.5 acres, which would allow for moving all of the, let's call them the dirtier stuff, the dirtier operations to the rear, such as the stockpiles, which happen on the northwest of the site, very far from the driveway. The cleaning of the drums happens towards the backside, south of where the batch plants are. And there's a point of confluence, let's call it, where the driveway would allow for connecting, but it's 100 feet and change back. So it will allow for some of that sediment that may be on the wheels of the vehicles to actually settle off, which is the intent of trying to keep and improve Cairo Lane, not keep it in its current condition. So this is a simple presentation, nothing spectacular, but as I said, it's within the I-4 district. All setbacks are maintained and no variants are needed. We have 38 parking spaces provided for the trucks. There was one thing that I did mention that I forgot to mention because I went too quickly, and that is that Cairo Lane is known for people staging on that street. And that's a nightmare for traffic, for everybody that goes into that area. Because of the size of the site and the way that we've organized it, we can loop all of the trucks within the actual site and not stage on the street. So that's one major improvement that would benefit, instead of having a trailer full of junk cars parked down the street. That's basically my presentation. If there's any questions, I'd also, I'm here to answer them, and I'd like to also reserve the right to respond to any comments that anyone may have after me.
Yes, I have a question.
Please.
What type of business is there right now?
It's a auto salvage.
Auto salvage.
Yeah, junkyard.
And is that, what is it that you're going to be doing there? Is it the same?
Concrete batch plant?
Concrete, okay.
There'll be brand new paving, there'll be brand new drainage systems. Basically, everything in the back is getting completely redone.
You stated there's going to be 38 parking.
For a combination of the vehicles that are for the operation as well as the visitors and employees.
Okay.
I will say that with regards to a batch plant, 3.5 acres is a nice size. I've been since I first started working, I've been helping remodel and build brand new batch plants in Miami-Dade County, and I've never had actually I had one that was about a little bit bigger.
Okay, I have another question. Is this anywhere near where the fire was at?
It's right across the street, ma'am.
Oh, right across.
It's right across the street. Thankfully, he wasn't affected.
Okay. That was the only
Yeah,
question and concern I had about that. This right here. Thank you.
yeah.
Anyone else have any questions or?
If not, we will have Mr. Lee come up and make staff's presentation. While he comes up, I will like to remind you, over the past 2, 3 years, we have been making amendments to this particular area of the city as it relates to the zoning code. One of the amendments was to expand on the types of uses that are allowed within this particular area, allowing a concrete batching plant, allowing logistic operations, and we're looking for other types of uses to come into this area as well. After the events that took place over the last 2 weeks, it's become very obvious to a number of people that we need to have other types of industries coming within the city of Opa-locka. So this will be one of the first new industries to come to this area and go through a review process. Mr. Lee will make his presentation.
Gerald Lee, Planning and Zoning Department. As Mr. Gay has already alluded to, it's important that we move forward and be progressive in the uses that are available to us in the I-4 zoning district. It had long been the area where salvage, junk, scrap metal facilities were located. But we have already begun the process to add additional uses to the area. And because we have begun, we're already making inroads for a change into this area. This is another example of a good new use that will be a positive one, but also one that won't be as injurious to the environment or be a nuisance to other business owners in the same area. You already know what where's it? Okay. And okay. Okay. Science experiment. Okay. The information that's already been presented pretty much covers everything that we wanted to also entertain. But the information, the most important part of the information that we are reviewing is that this new use is going to be in compliance with the requirements of Miami-Dade County, of fire, and of the zoning code and the building code. So this new use is going to be something that's important for the area. It's going to supply 38 parking spaces. It's going to do what this department has envisioned, that the city has envisioned to go forward with what will occur on this site. As you know, or as he already explained, this property is across the street from, is across the street from where the fires were. And so it's good that this property wasn't touched, but that fire was an indication that maybe we need to reconsider some things. Okay. And so with this example coming on the cusp of that event is a good thing to happen because it's moving us in the direction that we need to go. And I think this will be a great catalyst in the area. As far as zoning is concerned, this use is a permitted use for the area. As far as land use is concerned, this use is permitted for the area, and the opportunity to bring something new and stop contributing to environmental contamination is a very important change that we envision and that is possible if we review and approve this request. As you can also see, this use is compatible with all of the other things that are in the area. Because if you look at the map showing the zoning for the area, all of the properties that surround this property are of the same ilk. They are all I-4, they are all heavy industrial, and we're just bringing a better use to the property, not changing the zoning, not changing the use opportunity or asking for any variances, any amendments to the zoning code. None of those things are being requested. They're doing what they're doing by right. That's what the site looks like. That's the office building to go in, and behind it, if you look at the previous picture, behind it is all of the area that will be reformatted for.
So question, Mr. Lee, is that property still gonna be there or it's not gonna be gone? The auto park?
I'm sure that they're going to make, that building is going to remain.
Oh,
That building's going to remain.
okay.
But let me show you. See, to the right, close to the street is where the building is. But all of those rows behind it are where the stacks of cars and car parts are. All of that is going to be removed. And then they will format the property for the operation of making concrete and servicing new construction all over South Florida. So that's going to make the major change. All of those cars can come out, all of them can be taken somewhere else. And the operation that's going to be here will be more lucrative, I believe, more lucrative and more safe for the environment. But the building will remain, but that property is going to be a big change for the area. Okay.
How long have they owned the property?
That I'm not sure about. I think it was a recent change. Yeah, a couple of years.
Whose cars are there now? That's your inventory?
Yeah.
And what do you do with them now?
I think,
wanna
If
take
you
the
could
mic?
come up to the mic, please.
Good coaching.
My name is Laura Pedre and my address,
yes.
7890 Southwest 66th Street. So right now we operate that as a junkyard. It's our junkyard. It's our cars. We buy the cars and recycle the metal. So we sell them off to other scrap metal, or we do different things with the parts. So it just depends on really the car, what we do with it. But as of right now, the operation that's there is that we're taking motors out of the cars and recycling them.
Thank you.
That was everything.
But you stated that all that is gonna be removed totally. All those cars are gonna be out of there. It's just gonna be a plat cement
So
company.
I had Oscar Urbina again. I had a conversation with the owner
Okay.
when we first started discussing this, as that he does own this. And the intent is to clean the site up, to remodel the building, repaint the building, clean that up, because that definitely needs some love. And he really does appreciate his employees at this point in time. And he does want to keep them for as long as he can into this new operation. That's part of what he had mentioned to me. So it's not to get rid of this operation and like move on. No, he's a family man. He just left for like a family emergency. That's why he couldn't be here today.
That's fine.
Yeah, but still, you stated before that you were gonna remove the cars and then it's gonna be now a cement plat, isn't that, I mean, that's what I understood.
No,
as far as-
please explain. I may have misspoken or misunderstood.
Yeah, I thought that all those cars were gonna be removed
Yes, ma'am.
and then you were gonna be using it to do a plat cement?
Okay, so, all right, the operation is a concrete batch plant,
Okay,
which is where the mixing trucks that you see on the street
yes,
go and get filled up. So the junkyard operation will no longer cease after the construction of this brand new operation is finalized.
okay. Okay,
Right, the only vehicles that will be on site are going to be the mixing trucks that'll be parked overnight. And then you'll have the employees and whatnot coming through during the day.
And that's it, just for clarity, that's a new business. So we're getting rid of the old business and implementing a new business.
Correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
and being that you're there, because I was gonna ask Mr. Lee, what is the timeline for this business to get started and running?
So if all goes well with permitting, Durham is kind of the big one on this one, right? So we're looking at hopefully 6 to 8 months, worst case 12, which we're most likely going to have to ask for the extension that's on the next item on the agenda for that building permit. But the longer item is going to be trying to get through some of that Durham permitting. Then construction will probably take somewhere around another 6 to 8 months, maybe a year, worst case. Yeah, there's a lot of earthwork that's going to go into this. The existing grade is very low, and there's permitting not only at the state level for air permits and for the concrete batch plant operation, but also with the local permits in Miami-Dade County before we gotta get a permit from y'all.
Okay,
Mm.
that was my last question.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any other questions for staff or for the applicant?
Okay,
Of
roll
course,
call?
staff recommends approval.
Can we make a motion now? A motion to approve?
Second. Aldo Mata,
Yes.
Don Mangum,
Yes.
Audrey Dominguez,
Yes,
and Claudine Hibbert Smith.
Yes.
Approved 4-0.
next item, Madam Attorney.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, to consider the development agreement application for the development of a concrete batching plant with the required parking and landscaping on the property located at 13060 Cairo Lane and identified by folio 08-2128-003-0620 in the I-4 zoning district, providing for an effective date.
Mr. Lee.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this particular item is dealing with the development agreement, which is basically, for lack of a better phrase, like a prescription as to what the process will be for the permitting and anything related to the development for this particular project. Mr. Lee can speak to some of the points that are of substance as it relates to this particular project. I know the applicants are here. They may want to speak in regards to some of the things in regards to how this particular process will be moving forward. As it was described, depending on the permitting timeline, will really dictate whether they would need to have an extension, which is usually granted through the city manager's office for development agreements. But that is basically what we are addressing. If there's any questions that you would like to have in relationship to the development agreement, the applicant is here and Mr. Lee is here to speak to that.
Does anyone have any questions?
No.
If
No.
not. So, who will,
Motion to approve?
Second.
Madam Clerk, roll call?
Don Mangum,
Yes.
Audrey Dominguez,
Yes,
Claudine Hibbert Smith.
Yes.
Aldo Mata.
Yes.
For approved 4-0, I'm sorry.
thank you for coming.
Oh, you
Madam-
leave so soon.
Mm. Madam Attorney, number 3, an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida pertaining to accessory dwelling units, amending Article 5, Section 22-145 of the City of Opa-locka's land development regulations, providing definitions, providing for standards for accessory dwelling units, providing for a review process, amending Chapter 5, Section 22-145 of the City of Opa-locka's Code of Ordinances to establish a $100 fee for accessory dwelling unit certificate of use and a civil penalty for noncompliance, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing for an effective date.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is legislation that we've been working on for quite some time, and we've kind of held it in abeyance in regards to the actions that were taking place with the recreational vehicle legislation. Now that that has moved on, we are now prepared to bring this legislation forward, which is basically dealing with auxiliary dwelling units. We have a presentation that we would like to make real quick in regards to that. But basically, we are playing catch up with the rest of Miami-Dade County. Miami-Dade County actually passed this legislation about 3 years ago to allow for auxiliary dwelling units within single-family properties. The city of Miami and other municipalities have had this on the books for a number of years. Some cities had it, got away with it, put it to the side because of how things were being developed. And then as more of a reaction, and because people were doing modifications to older homes, they brought the legislation back so that those particular homes would not be considered as a grandfather use, but actually a use by right. So we have a real quick presentation because we do have another item that should have been before this one to speak to. Mr. Lee is going to make a real quick presentation as it relates to the auxiliary dwelling units.
Okay, this is for the land development amendment. This proposed amendment is going to update the land development regulations, and it allows one accessory dwelling unit or guest house per residential lot. And this is going to ensure that construction and proper occupancy and neighborhood compatibility is going to be reviewed before we allow somebody to do this. It also creates an enforceable framework for monitoring and regulating ADUs. Okay. Get it. Like I said, only one accessory dwelling unit will be permitted per single family lot. The occupancy is going to be 2 people per bedroom. Parking is 1 additional off-street parking space is required for an ADU to be allowed. Guest houses are exempt from this requirement. And if you looked at the legislation, guest houses and ADUs are different. Guest houses is usually family oriented, granny flats, in-law quarters, that kind of thing. An ADU, somebody completely unrelated to the people that live in the single family home on that same property. Okay, so the difference in requirements are different, and that's what this legislation does. It gives standards, it gives direction, it gives rules and regulations about how and when and where and what to do. Utilities can be separate for an ADU. So you'll have a different water bill and electric bill for the ADU from what is with the family. If it's a guest house, there's one utility bill for both. Because it's a guest house, it's family. Okay, it also gives direction for location and design for where that ADU can be located on the property. and it gives some guidance to the leasing of that unit. Okay. Sheds are on many properties in the city of Opa-locka. Sheds are not to be used as an accessory dwelling unit. It's not a habitable space. It's a space for storage. It's different. Okay. Permitting, there will be a requirement for a certificate of use for the ADU. So that means there's some licensure that has to happen. That means there's also going to be some inspections that are gonna make sure that the place is habitable, that it provides for the safety that's required for habitable spaces. Okay, and it follows the Florida Building Code for spaces that people can rent. So there's a standard for making sure that people are in safe spaces. This legislation also requires a site plan review kind of review to make sure that it meets setbacks, building heights. Like your ADU can't be 2 stories and the single family home is a 1-story house. Okay, it gives requirements, standards, and restrictions. Okay. Enforcement, the ADU is going to give grounds for the enforcement of the regulations about the ADUs, or if it's followed the process, or if it's out of sync with what the code requires, and so on and so forth. And that means that now code enforcement will have the ability to write up places that have not followed the code and need to come into compliance. With those things implemented, with those things considered, and with any recommendations that you may have to add to this list of things that may need to be considered, staff is recommending approval.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you stated something regarding grandfathered in? Now, I know for a fact there's a couple of houses in Opa-locka that have rental in their house, and they have about 10 cars in the front, like from side to side, like inside the yard, outside. Does that apply to them, or are we gonna go back and tell them something, or how does that work?
Let me say this. I believe once this legislation is in place, on a case-by-case basis, the particulars and the specifics will have to be reviewed to make a determination as to how to best handle every case.
Yeah, but still, you didn't answer my question. Is it, so they're not grandfathered in, or like,
Like I said, it depends on the particulars. For us, grandfathering means that it was something that was approved 20 years ago.
By a previous code.
Okay.
Yes.
But not just because they have it now are they grandfathered. It's not blanketly that.
okay.
Okay. And let me just make one correction. Mr. Lee spoke about where the ADU may be 1 story, or it may be 2 stories, and the main house may be a 1 story. There are cases where the ADU actually can be like above a garage. So in essence, it makes it at a 2-story level, but it's not counted as a 2-story structure per se. So we just to add some clarification to that. We do realize that there are some properties, a few historic properties, I might add, that have these particular type of situation, and they have been in essence grandfathered in. We are looking at making sure that this legislation is written in such a way that it incorporates what was built in the past and make sure that it follows the same rules and regulations that are being applied to those properties that want to have this type of structure on their site. So there will be rules and regulations as it relates to the expected number of parking spaces to service a home, to service a property, whether it's on a standard lot, maybe it's on a double lot, because the lot variations can really dictates how big the ADU can be. In some cases, and I would say this is probably something that we're going to pretty much be regulating. The ADU space cannot be bigger than the primary residence. So if your primary residence is a 1,200 square foot structure, the ADU will have to be a percentage of that. And then there are maximums as it relates to how much square footage can be built on a site. So those are some of the other rules and regulations that will be a part of this particular ordinance. We want to make sure that it speaks to the quality of life. This is basically for single family home residents. So we're not looking to allow you to turn your single family home into an apartment complex. That is not what we're looking to achieve. And as a matter of fact, that will be, really dealt with by code enforcement. This is for people who have single family home lots and they want to have the auxiliary dwelling unit on their property.
And the $100 fee is once they apply, they have to apply?
That's an application process. Yes.
And when you guys was talking about the ADUs being limited to just one ADU, so essentially they can have just one section of the house in theory as an ADU. Like let's just say hypothetically they have 2,000 square foot and they want to do two 400 square foot ADUs. Hypothetically.
Only one.
No, only one. And the ADU is a separate structure.
A separate structure, okay.
Not
okay.
within the
Got it.
envelope of the existing structure.
Got it.
And not in addition. It is a separate structure.
Separate structure.
It's a standalone
Got it. Got it.
housing use.
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
If you have any questions, let's move to call the roll or to approve or deny.
Audience approves.
The second.
Second.
Excuse me. Aldo Mata,
Yes.
Audrey Dominguez,
Yes.
Dawn Mangum,
Yes.
Claudine Hibbert Smith.
Yes.
Approved 4-0.
Now we're in item number 4, Madam Attorney.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, to consider a small-scale comprehensive plan amendment to the future land use map and to amend the land use designation for the properties from commercial land use to an industrial land use designation for a 1.6 acre or 71,370 square foot site consisting of 3 parcels located at 3570 Northwest 135th Street, 3530 Northwest 135th Street, 3450 Northwest 135th Street, and identified by folios 08-2128-003-0391, 08-2128-003-0390, and 08-2128-003-0380, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
Good evening, board members. Thank you very much. For the record, my name is Edward Martos, office is at 2800 Ponce de Leon Boulevard. I'm here on behalf of the applicant. I'll keep it brief. We are a existing property owner and business. We've been in business since 1992. That business is, my client does business as All Parts International. And since 1992, we've been operating the exact same business, which is auto parts salvage. In the same exact location and with all of our permits, all of our approvals. Something funny happened in 2015. In 2015, the city rezoned and changed the comprehensive plan map on a stretch of Northwest 135th Street. And in that process, they tweaked our zoning designation and our comp plan designation so that our specific use that we've been doing since 1992 was no longer permitted. We were completely unaware. My client had no idea until about 2022 when we got a notice from Durham. And Durham said, wait a minute, this plan is different. The zoning map is different than what your use is. So since 2022, we've been working with Durham and also with the city in order to correct this and sort of backtrack so that this business that has been operating since 1992, complying with all of your regulations, can continue. And so that's really our goal here today, is make the correction to the map. Staff, I've reviewed the staff report and they are recommending approval with conditions. Of course, you'll hear it from them directly. We agree with all of the conditions that they've proposed. So they proposed some conditions, even though we've been running the business the same way since 34 years now. They proposed a few new things, additional screening, for example, lowering the stack of cars that we have along 135th Street. Some important things, and we fully agree with them. We comply with them. We're happy to do that. And so with that, I will reserve any time that I have for any other questions you have, for rebuttals if there's any comments. But we really hope that you'll approve with conditions as staff is recommending. Thank you very much. I'm available for questions.
So this basically, if this, you do scrap metal or just cars,
Cars.
parts?
Car parts. So
Car
we take old cars. Very importantly, we remove all fuel, all liquids. We make sure that they're safe to keep on site, and we remove the valuable parts. So we break them down.
Okay. So it's basically to be in compliance is what you're trying to do from
Yes.
what it was before to now to industrial. That's right?
Yeah.
It's commercial land to use as industrial land.
The commercial, we have split designations. Half our property is commercial, the other half is industrial, which is confusing things even further, right? So it used to be that we were all industrial.
Right.
And again, we never shut down our business. We've been operating happily for 34 years. Something happened in 2015 as part of the rezoning for 135th Street. It didn't take into account that we'd been here the whole time. So we really just want to correct that mistake on the map so we can keep being a happy business in Opa-locka. Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Lee?
Okay. This property, this 3-parcel property site, as he's already alluded to, has a zoning that is not compatible with the use that is on the property. And we want to bring into complete consistency with the land development regulations and the comp plan. In fact, right now we're just dealing with the comp plan, we're dealing with land use. So we want to change the land use from commercial to industrial so that it'll be in compliance with the requirements of our comprehensive plan. Now, the comprehensive plan has 3 policies or objectives in particular that I listed that will be satisfied when we do this land use change. Objective land use number 7 is supposed to protect, maintain, and improve commercial and industrial districts. That improvement is to make sure that the land use is in agreement with the use that is operating on the property. Policy LU 7.5 is supposed to have us to ensure compatibility, support economic activity, and prevent encroachment of incompatible uses. The use that has been operated by this business has been for used auto parts for more than 25 years. I think it's 30 something, 34 years. In the interim, we want to bring them back into compliance so that they can complete their licensure, so they can be the viable public entity business operation in the city of Opa-locka as they should be, but with all of their requirements in hand. Okay. Policy number 3 is land use 7.7, which is to provide appropriate transitions between industrial, mixed use, and residential districts. This land use change is going to make it that this district will be completely industrial and not have the confusion of commercial with an industrial use on it. So what I wanted to, well, I'm sure you're aware of it, but I'm going to show you the location anyway. Okay, that's the site. And as you can see, it faces 135th Street and it's at the corner of 135 and Cairo Lane. It begins at Cairo Lane and it stops at the first offering of TMR. Okay.
The entry. to
The
TMR.
entrance to TMR, right? And so those three properties are the properties that this business operates on. And what we're trying to do is make sure that the land use for all three of those properties are industrial. As you can see from the next slide, when you look around that area, there's commercial land uses across the street and all industrial behind it, but that site was the one that did not include the industrial land use. So this change is going to make that site compatible with the use that they have because they haven't changed uses. Now, the use that they're going to operate at that site is not one that's going to intensify the use that is there. It's not going to change what uses are available. They're not going to add anything new. They're going to continue to do what they've been doing, but now they're going to do it lawfully because they're going to be licensed and they're going to be able to get everything they need from Durham. They're going to get the licenses from the city because the compatibility requirement is going to be satisfied and they're going to be in compliance. Without going any further, staff is recommending approval so that we can get this thing on the right track. Amen.
Okay, now a question, because he stated something that you guys had some points that you wanted for them to be in compliance with or at least follow. And I think he mentioned something about where the cars are stacked. I guess visibility might be what it is.
If I may clarify, those conditions, you have two items in front of you, the future land use map and the
Uh-huh.
rezoning. Those
Okay.
conditions are going to be tied to the rezoning. I just compressed the two topics together,
Oh,
right? And so when he gets to his presentation on the rezoning, you're going to see those conditions come up and we'll discuss those.
okay, so that's the ordinance number 5?
Yes.
Okay.
So right now, we have to deal with these particular ordinances in a particular order. Typically, you deal with the land use first before you deal with the zoning, because the land use dictates what the zoning can do. So we're addressing the land use aspect of it right now, which is basically changing it from a commercial land use to an industrial land use.
Okay, got it. All right.
They're going to.
Okay. So
And that's it for this item.
Yeah, motion to approve.
Second. Board Member Claudine Hibbert Smith,
Yes.
Board Member Audrey Dominguez,
yes.
Board Member Don Mangum,
Yes.
and Board Member Aldo Mata.
Yes.
Approved 4-0.
Now we get to talk about the zoning.
This first has to be read into record, Madam Attorney.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, to consider a rezoning request for approximately 1.6 acres of land located at 3570 Northwest 135th Street, 3530 Northwest 135th Street, 3450 Northwest 135th Street, and identified by folios 08-2128-003-0391, 08-2128-003-0390, 08-2128-003-0380 from the current commercial intensive B3 zoning district to the liberal industrial storage and salvage I4 zoning district, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
Okay. I'm not gonna belabor the point. In general, when rezonings are usually requested, it's because the applicant is requesting to rezone because of some other reason. They want to do something that they're not allowed to do because the zone that they're in doesn't permit it. So they're changing the zoning so they can get to a use that they need or want. In this particular case, this is pretty much a Scrivener's kind of error situation where we're trying to correct an error so that a business can operate lawfully. Okay, but in spite of that, as you can see, what's required is we have to look at the approval criteria, and that is the proposed change is contrary. It's contrary to the established land use pattern. This use is not going to be contrary to the land use pattern. The proposed change would create spot zoning. This proposed change will not create spot zoning because it is comparable to the zoning that is surrounding it. The proposed change would alter the population or traffic patterns and thereby negatively impact public facilities such as schools, utilities, streets, etc. None of those things are true. This is an industrial district, and the change is going to keep going with the use that is already available to this property and the properties that surround it. The proposed zoning district boundaries would become more illogically drawn. The change is going to make it logical. It's going to make it compatible. It's going to make it that they are doing what is required. The proposed change would be in conflict with all or portions of the city's comprehensive plan. It is not going to be in conflict with the comprehensive plan because it is following the requirements. As I stated before on the land use, the policies that were listed are the ones that are being complied with by the changes that we have recommended. There is an additional need for uses permitted within the proposed zoning district. They are not asking for any changes in the use that they're using. They're continuing to do the use that they have always done on this site, and we're supporting that activity. The proposed change will adversely affect living conditions in the neighborhood if applicable. They've been working from the playbook of an industrial use, and they will continue to work from that same playbook, so it's not going to make any changes of that sort. The proposed change will create or excessively increase traffic. No traffic changes are going to happen because the use is not going to change. It is to legalize or support the use that's already there. The proposed change will create a drainage problem. It's not going to create a drainage problem. The use is the one that's always been there. The proposed change will reduce light and air to adjacent areas. No changes in intensity in the area is going to occur from the zoning change that they have requested. The proposed change will adversely affect property values. Actually, the property value may go up because now it's going to be an agreement with the business that's supposed to be on the site. What I wanted to also add in dealing with the changes that we have supported and we have recommended, the conditions that we were talking about is we're recommending approval, but we're also asking them to comply with the removal of stacked cars along Northwest 135th Street frontage, the installation and maintenance of adequate visual screening, and that screening should be in compliance with the city's zoning code, i.e. fencing, walls, landscaping to shield from view the salvage operation that is behind the fence because it's right on 135th Street. We're also asking that they also agree with no expansion of outdoor storage beyond existing operational limits. So within their area, whatever the setbacks are, that nothing should occur within that area, then nothing will occur in that area. That'll be open space. And compliance with all I-4 district performance standards. They're going to be in an I-4 zoning district. They were already following the requirements based on the I-4 zoning district, so it should not be a problem. That's staff's report.
Thank you. Well, I want to thank you for coming and for keeping that area safe, because that means that you guys are following the guidelines as far as, you know, what happened with the other area, with the gas, the
Absolutely.
oil and all of that. So that means that you guys are really in compliance with what we're expecting from a business like yours.
34 years in business and we've never had an accident.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Um. Let's vote.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Board Member Claudine Hibbert Smith,
Yes.
Board Member Aldo Mata,
Yes.
Board Member Audrey Dominguez.
Yes.
And Board Member Dawn Mangum.
Yes.
Approved 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, board, very much. And thank you to your staff. You've got excellent staff and they've been really professional. Appreciate you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. That pretty much exhausts our agenda for this evening, but I do have one announcement. As you may be looking through the audience, we do have a new face among us. We have Miss Lisa Bryant, who has just been appointed as a board member for the Planning and Zoning Board. She signed the form and took the oath earlier today. So after we do orientation and everything, she will be here amongst you all on the dais. So we welcome you to be a part of this process. And
Welcome, Alan.
I guess you can see what you're getting yourself into. Thank you. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
I second.
Alrighty, good night. Thank you.
Great. Meeting adjourned. 7:05.